Magnificat anima mea Dominum,
et exsultat spiritus meus in Deo salutari meo,
quia respexit humilitatem mansile sue, ex enim ex hoc beata medicent omnes generationes.
quia fecit mi magna qui potens est, et sanctum nomen eius,
Et misericordia eius a progenie in progenies, dimentibus eum,
fecit potentiam in brachio suum, dispersit superbos mente cordis sui,
deposuit potentes tessere, et exaltavit humile.
Surientes simple bonis, et divit est misit inane,
Suscepit Israel puerum suum, recordatus misericordiae suae.
sicut locutus estat Patres nostros, Abraham et semini eius in saecula.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto,
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
The Virgin Mary in the Kingdom of the Divine Will, by the servant of God, Luisa Picaretta, little daughter of the Divine Will. For private use only. Meditations for the month of May, for the House of the Divine Will. May 6, 1930. Luisa Picaretta. Fiat. JMJ. Maternal Appeal of the Queen of Heaven. Dearest daughter, I feel the irresistible need to descend from heaven to make you my maternal visits. If you assure me of your filial love and faithfulness, I will remain always with you in your soul, to be your teacher, model, example, and most tender mother. I come to invite you to enter into the kingdom of your Mama. That is, the kingdom of the Divine Will. And I knock at the door of your heart, that you may open it to me. You know, with my own hands I bring you this book as gift. I offer it to you with maternal care, so that in your turn, in reading it, you may learn to live of heaven and no longer of earth. This book is of gold, my child. It will form your spiritual fortune, your happiness, also terrestrial. In it you will find the font of all goods. If you are weak, you will acquire strength. If you are tempted, you will achieve victory. If you have fallen into sin, you will find the pitying and powerful hand that will lift you up again. If you feel afflicted, you will find comfort. If cold, the sure means to get warm. If hungry, you will enjoy the delicious food of the divine will. With it you will lack nothing. You will no longer be alone, because your Mama will keep you sweet company, and with her every maternal care, she will take on the commitment of making you happy. I, the Celestial Empress, will take care of all your needs, provided that you consent to live united with me. If you knew my yearnings, my ardent sighs, and also the tears I shed for my children, if you knew how I burn with the desire that you listen to my lessons, all of heaven, and learn to live of divine will. In this book, you will see wonders. You will find a Mama who loves you so much as to sacrifice her own beloved son for you, in order to allow you to live of that same life of which she lived upon earth. Oh, please, do not give me this sorrow. Do not reject me. Accept this gift of heaven that I am bringing you. Welcome my visit, my lessons. Know that I will go throughout the whole world. I will go to each individual, to all families, to religious communities, to every nation, to all peoples. And if needed, I will go around for entire centuries, until as queen, I have formed my people, and as mother, my children, who would know the divine will and let it reign everywhere. Here is the purpose of this book explained to you. Those who will welcome it, with love, will be the first fortunate children who will belong to the kingdom of the divine fiat. And I, with gold characters, will write their names in my maternal heart. See, my child, that same infinite love of God, which in redemption wanted to use me in order to make the eternal word descend upon earth, is now calling me into the field once again, entrusting to me the difficult task, the sublime mandate of forming on earth the children of the kingdom of his divine will. Therefore, with maternal care I set to work, and I prepare for you the way which will lead you to this happy kingdom. For this purpose, I will give you sublime and celestial lessons, and finally, I will teach you special and new prayers, through which you will commit the heavens, the sun, the creation, my very life and that of my Son, and all the acts of the saints, so that in your name they may impetrate the adorable kingdom of the divine will. These prayers are the most powerful, because they bind the very divine operating. By means of them, God will feel disarmed and conquered by the creature. Confident of this help, you will hasten the coming of his most happy kingdom, and with me, you will obtain that the divine will be done on earth as it is in heaven, according to the desire of the divine Master. Courage, my daughter. Make me content, and I will bless you. Prayer to the Celestial Queen for each day of the month of May. Immaculate Queen, my celestial mother, I come onto your maternal knees to abandon myself in your arms as your dear daughter, in order to ask of you, with the most ardent sighs, in this month consecrated to you, the greatest of graces, that you admit me to live in the kingdom of the divine will. Holy Mamma, you who are the queen of this kingdom, admit me to live in it as your daughter, that it may no longer be deserted, but populated by your children. Therefore, Sovereign Queen, I entrust myself to you, that you may lead my steps in the kingdom of the divine will. And as I cling to your maternal hand, you will lead all my being to live perennial life in the divine will. You will be my Mamma, and to you, as my Mamma, I deliver my will, that you may exchange it with the divine will, and so I may be sure I will not go out of its kingdom. Therefore I pray you to illumine me, in order to make me comprehend what will of God means. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now, and at the hour of our death. Amen. Little Sacrifice of the Month. Each morning, midday, and night, 3 times a day, let us go onto the knees of our celestial Mamma and say to her, My Mamma, I love you. And you, love me and give a sip of divine will to my soul. Give me your blessing, that I may do all of my actions under your maternal gaze. The Virgin Mary in the Kingdom of the Divine Will. Day 21. The Queen of Heaven in the Kingdom of the Divine Will. Rising Sun. Full midday. The Eternal Word in our midst. The soul to her Queen Mamma. Most sweet Mamma, my poor heart feels the extreme need to come onto your maternal knees, to confide to you my little secrets, and to entrust them to your maternal heart. Listen, oh my Mamma, when looking at the great prodigies that the divine fiat operated in you, I feel it is not given to me to imitate you, because I am little, weak. And then the tremendous struggles of my existence, which crush me and leave me but a breath of life. My Mamma, oh, how I would want to pour my heart into yours, to let you feel the pains that embitter me, and the fear that tortures me, that I may fail to do the divine will. Have pity, O Celestial Mother, have pity. Hide me in your heart, and I will lose the memory of my evils, to remember only to live of divine will. Lesson of the Queen of Heaven, Mother of Jesus. Dearest child, do not fear. Trust your Mamma. Pour everything into my heart, and I will take everything into account. I will be your Mamma. I will change your pains into light, and will use them to expand the boundaries of the kingdom of the divine will in your soul. Therefore, put everything aside for now, and listen to me. I want to tell you what little King Jesus operated in my maternal womb, and how your mamma did not lose even one breath of little Jesus. My child, the little humanity of Jesus kept growing, united hypostatically with the divinity. My maternal womb was so very narrow, dark. There was not a glimmer of light. And I could see him in my maternal womb, immobile, enveloped in a deep night. But do you know what formed this darkness so intense for the infant Jesus? The human will, in which man had voluntarily enveloped himself. And for as many sins as he committed, so many abysses of darkness he formed around and within himself, in such a way that it rendered him immobile to doing good. And my dear Jesus, in order to put to flight the darkness of this night so deep, in which man had rendered himself the prisoner of his own tenebrous will, to the point of losing the motion of doing good, chose the sweet prison of his mamma, and voluntarily exposed himself to the immobility of 9 months. My child, if you knew how martyred was my maternal heart in seeing little Jesus in my little womb, immobile, crying, sighing. His ardent heartbeat palpitated so very strongly. Fidgeting with love, he made his heartbeat heard in every heart, to ask them, for pity's sake, for their souls, so as to enclose them in the light of his divinity, because for love of them he had voluntarily exchanged light for darkness, so that all might obtain true light in order to reach safety. My dearest child, who can tell you what my little Jesus suffered in my womb? Unheard of and indescribable pains. He was endowed with full reason. He was God and man. And his love was so great that he put as though aside the infinite seas of joys, of happiness, of light, and plunged his tiny humanity into the seas of darkness, of bitternesses, of unhappiness, of miseries, which creatures had prepared for him. And little Jesus took them all upon his shoulders, as if they were his own. My child, true love never says enough. It does not look at the pains, and by dint of pains it searches for the loved one. And when it lays down its life to give life back to the beloved, then is it content. My child, listen to your mamma. See what great evil it is to do your will. Not only do you prepare the night for your Jesus and for yourself, but you form seas of bitternesses, of unhappiness, and of miseries, in which you remain so engulfed as to be unable to escape. Therefore be attentive. Make me happy by saying to me, I want to do always the divine will. Now listen, my child. Little Jesus, in spasms of love, is in the act of taking the step to come out to the light of the day. His yearnings, his ardent sighs and desires, for he wants to embrace the creature, to make himself seen, and to look at her in order to enrapture her to himself, give him no more respite. And just as one day he put himself on the lookout at the doors of heaven in order to enclose himself in my womb, So he is now in the act of putting himself on the lookout at the doors of my womb, which is more than heaven. And the sun of the eternal Word rises in the world and forms in it its full midday. So there will be night no longer for the poor creatures, nor dawn, nor daybreak, but always sunshine, more than at the fullness of midday. Your mamma felt she could no longer contain him within herself. Seas of light and of love inundated me. And just as I conceived him within a sea of light, so within a sea of light he came out of my maternal womb. Dear child, for one who lives of divine will, everything is light, and everything converts into light. Enraptured in this light, I awaited to embrace my little Jesus in my arms. And as he came out of my womb, I heard his first loving wailings. The angel of the Lord placed him in my arms, and I pressed him so very tightly to my heart, and gave him my first kiss, and little Jesus gave me his. Enough for now. Tomorrow I will wait for you again to continue the narration of the birth of Jesus. The Soul. Holy Mamma, oh, how fortunate you are! You are the true blessed one among all women. Oh, please, for the sake of those joys which you experienced when you pressed Jesus to your breast and gave him your first kiss, I pray you to let me hold little Jesus in my arms for a few instants, that I may give him contentment by saying to him that I swear to love him always, always, and that I want to know nothing but his divine will. Little Sacrifice. Today, to honor me, you will come to kiss the little feet of baby Jesus, and you will place your will into his little hands to let him play and smile. Ejaculatory Prayer. My Mamma, enclose little Jesus in my heart, that he may transform it completely into will of God. You have reached the end of day 21 of the Virgin Mary in the Kingdom of the Divine Will. Fiat.